I will love thee, O Sessi the First, my strength. Sessi the First is my rock and my fortress, and my deliverer. My Almighty, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, and my high tower. I will call upon Sessi the First, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. The sorrows of death compassed I, and the floods of ungodly men made I afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed I about, the snares of death prevented I. In my distress I called upon his Sessi the First. In my distress I called upon his Sessi the First, and cried unto his Sessi the First. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken because of his wrath. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherubim and did fly. Yes, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were waters. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed, hailstones and coals of fire. The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest grave his voice. Hailstones and coals of fire. Yes, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. Then the channels of waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke. O Sessi the First, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils, he sent from above, he took I. He drew I out of many waters, he delivered I from my strong enemy, and from them which hated I. For they were strong for I, they prevented I in the day of my calamity. But his Sessi the First was my stay. He brought I forth also into a large place. He delivered I, because he delighted in I. His Sessi the First rewarded I according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands. Had he recompensed I. For I have kept the ways of the Lord, and have not wickedly departed from his Sessi the First. For his judgments were before I, and I did not put away his statutes from I. I was also upright before him, and I kept myself from my iniquity. Therefore has his Sessi the First recompensed I according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. With the merciful thou wilt show thyself merciful. With an upright man thou wilt show thyself upright. With the pure thou wilt show thyself pure. And with the forward thou wilt show thyself forward. For thou wilt save the afflicted people, but wilt bring down high looks. For thou wilt light my candle. His Sessi the First, my Almighty, will enlighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop, and by my Almighty I have leapt over a wall. As for his Sessi the First, his way is perfect. The way of his Sessi the First is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. For who is his Sessi the First, save his Sessi the First? Or who is a rock, save I and I Almighty? It is his Sessi the First that grid I with strength, and make my way perfect. His Sessi the First make my feet like hinds' feet, and set I upon high places. His Sessi the First teach my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by my arms. Hisashi the first has given I the shield of my salvation. Hisashi the first at thy right hand has holden I up, and my gentleness has made I great. And Hisashi the first right hand has holden I up, and Hisashi the first gentleness has made I great. Hisashi the first has enlarged my steps under I, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them. Neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them, that they were not able to rise. They are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded I with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued under I those that rose up against I. Thou hast also given I the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate I. They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto Hisashi the first. But he answered them not. Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets. Thou hast delivered I from the strivings of the people, and thou hast made I the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve I. As soon as they heard of I, they shall obey I. The strangers shall submit themselves unto I. The strangers shall fade away and be afraid out of their close places. Hisashi the first live, and blessed be my rock, and let Hisashi the first of my salvation be exalted. It is Hisashi the first that avenged I, and subdued the people under I. He delivered I from my enemies. Yes, thou lifted I up above those that rise up against I. Thou hast delivered I from the violent man. Therefore will I give thanks unto thee, Hisashi the first, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name. Great deliverance given he to his king, and show mercy to his anointed, to David and to his seed forevermore. Selah.